Hello dear friends, peace be with you. We have heard people say that variety is the spice of life. Have you ever thought about the variety and the diversity that exist in the Catholic Church? The many number of priestly congregations, the numerous religious orders of nuns, and the various lay Catholic movements, but yet harmoniously doing their work under the umbrella of the Catholic Church. One such movement is Jesus Youth, an international Catholic movement approved by the Vatican, which has been the fulcrum of evangelization among Catholic youth in India for the past 30 years, leading them all to the fullness of the Catholic faith. After doing my bachelor studies in a Protestant college, my knowledge and my practice of the Catholic faith was on an all-time low. I did not know anything about the sacraments, nor did I have insight to the Catholic Church teachings, nor was I able to comprehend the role of Mother Mary and the saints. Fortunately, after I came back to Chennai, I was providentially led to be part of the Jesus Youth movement, and it was my Jesus Youth friends who showed me my way back to the Catholic faith. After becoming very active with various ministries within the Jesus Youth movement, one day I was called to participate in the leaders gathering that was organized in Chennai. I remember someone coming and telling me that the National Assistant Coordinator of Jesus Youth is here and he is going through some difficult trials in his life and we should all pray for him and his family. Little did I know that after 6 years, I would have the wonderful opportunity to talk with Emmanuel Joseph and Divya Emmanuel about their struggles, their pain, their trials, and how God journeyed with them through all these experiences. As a couple, they've gone through a lot. A miscarriage, journey with cancer, and now waiting for the blessing of a child. But in spite of all this, I was so inspired and amazed to see their commitment and faithfulness to God and His work. They just did not give up, but rather they chose to put their trust in Jesus. So please join me in this wonderful interview with Emmanuel and Divya as they share their powerful testimony with all of us. Sit back and enjoy. God bless you. Okay. So Emmanuel, we will start the interview by both of you introducing your family members to all of us.
Okay. So my name is Emmanuel Joseph. I live in Bombay and I stay with my mother and my wife Divya. I have a sibling, I have a sister, and she's married and settled in Bombay itself. She has one kid of 3 years old. Her name is Joanne. And I am living in Bombay from the time I'm born. So more than 35 years I'm staying in Bombay. That's it.
How was your Catholic upbringing, Emmanuel? I mean, how were you brought up?
My parents are very strong Catholics, I would say.
Okay.
They were not charismatic as such, but they were a strong believer in Lord. Okay. Everything till today, they believe in God, that it's only because of God that we are here today.
Okay.
So early childhood was like, without Mass, I cannot survive. If I don't go for Mass, I won't get food. If I don't do weekly confession, I won't get food. So it was a burden those days for me. But today when I look at my life, it has helped me a lot to grow in my spiritual. It is very easy for me today to connect with God and to relate with God very easily.
Okay.
So I am from a Sacramental diocese. So the church of the diocese, the parish of the diocese is my parish actually.
Okay.
So it's like a 2 minutes walk from my house.
Okay.
So even priest wants to see me every day in the morning for the Mass.
Yeah.
They will not say the Mass. They will come home, call me, and then they go for Mass.
Yeah.
So that was.
Which place are you exactly from, Kerala?
I'm from Thrissur.
Thrissur.
Only for namesake actually.
Okay. But most of the time you've been in Bombay.
My life in Bombay.
Okay. So you can introduce your family members, Divya.
Okay. Hi, my name is Divya and I've been born and brought up in Delhi.
Delhi, okay.
Now after marriage, I'm settled here with Emmanuel in Mumbai. In Delhi, my family, I have my parents and I have an elder brother who's also married.
Okay.
And all of us are part of the Jesus Youth movement.
Okay.
Now even I would say my parents are part of the Jesus Youth movement because
wonderful. Yeah.
Get them along for all our programs.
No, how was your childhood? How was your upbringing?
My childhood, I was very active in the parish.
Okay.
I had friends who would tell my mother, they would call up home and they would tell my mother, "Auntie, please give her bedding there in the church itself." most of the time I would spend in the church with a lot of things that are going on.
Okay.
And one of the blessing was that we had a convent very near our house. So sisters there, I'm still connected to those sisters. They have been part and parcel of the faith formation.
Okay. Which congregation were they? Which sisters?
Sisters of Notre Dame.
Oh, Notre Dame. Okay.
Yeah. And then definitely through my mother and my brother. My brother had been active in the Christian ministry when we were in school.
Okay.
So we had a small prayer group when we were very young. I think I was in my 4th standard or something when my brother and 2 of his friends, they started a prayer group in the church. So it was like my brother used to take me along.
Okay.
So at that time, I was not aware of exactly why I'm going or is it necessary. But then just because, okay, everybody is going, I would just tag along. But then I feel that it is because of these little things that happened in my life that God has really brought me where I am today.
Yeah. And you are also from Kerala?
Kerala, but Kollam.
Kollam. But you were all the time been in Delhi?
Yeah. Born and brought up in Delhi.
Okay. So Divya, how did your marriage happen? Was it arranged? How did it all come together?
Both, I would say.
Okay.
Because we met in Delhi,
okay.
and the proposal came. So I wanted to get married to a Jesus Youth,
okay.
because I was already very active in the ministry and wanted to continue in the roles that I had in the Jesus Youth movement. So when the proposal came, parents were okay. We went forward with it, and in a span of I think 6 months to 8 months, we got married. So it was not like something. There was a time for love. Yes, there was. It was arranged. Yeah. The proposal came, it happened, and then we got married. So there was not a long period of courtship or anything. Okay. So it was after marriage really that
you had your courtship. Yeah. And Emmanuel, I just wanted to ask you, we met 3 years before in Chennai in Jesus Youth program. So you were the assistant national coordinator for Jesus Youth for around 2 to 3 years, right? So could you share your experience of how it was during that time for you?
When I was chosen as assistant coordinator of India, I was really surprised because I was nowhere as a national figure actually.
Okay.
My whole field of war was in Bombay.
Okay.
My proclamation, my mission and everything, I never dreamt beyond Bombay.
Okay.
And in the year 2010, I had a call that I need to resign my work and I need to get into a full-time ministry.
Oh, okay.
So it was not an easy thing, but I consulted or I sat with at least 4 or 5 elders from different areas in India, and all had the same saying. All said the same thing, that Imal, it's a call that you have to move out from your professional life and you have to take up this cross and you have to do a full-time mission.
Okay.
So initially, mom was very difficult, had a difficulty, but I know mom knows that I've been with the movement for now. It's 17 years running, almost 18 years.
Wow.
So mom knows that if my son is doing something, it is for good. So he said, if if God is telling you to do, you continue with that. And at that time, it was a national election and I was chosen as an assistant coordinator. It was a really surprise because I don't know anyone in Jesus Message. Maybe few key leaders of the movement, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know any region outside, maybe Bombay, Pune. I have not seen Nagpur also.
Yeah.
So it was very difficult for me to travel, and I was like a mama's kid.
Okay.
I've been always with my mother.
Okay.
But this, and one person told me, "Mal, this will be the most beautiful time in your life. This 3 years will be the most beautiful time you will ever imagine." And I think so. It is. Yeah, it was a very wonderful day, moment actually, a wonderful 3 years, because Lord tested me, molded me, broke me. I don't know, twisted me. What all He did, I don't know. But He did a lot of things in my life, and He made me learn many things. I am not perfect even today, but He made me learn a lot of things in this world. What is Jesus Youth? What is mission? What is church? What is your personal life? What is love? What is family? What is relationship? All these things were learned in these 3 days. I don't know whether I did good as an assistant coordinator for the movement. I don't know even today. But the many things I learned through the movement, or maybe through this responsibility that God has given me, even for traveling. I've never traveled in general compartment, sleeping next to the toilet. and that was the first experience where I'm lying down, standing for 16 hours or 18 hours in the train. That was amazing. So many things. And in those days, mom was not well. Mom was in the ventilator, almost gone stage. After that, Divya diagnosed of cancer. So this 3 years was like a miracle for me. At the same time, a learning experience to live my life, or maybe to see my future mission through these 3 years.
Oh, so you became the assistant coordinator after you got married to Divya?
No, before. I got elected in 2011 and then got married in 2012.
While his term.
While his term. Okay.
On this, yeah.
Okay. Now, one character trait or one weakness that you had that you wouldn't have changed if not for those 3 years of leadership that you had in JY?
Anger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a very short-tempered fellow.
Okay.
True that.
Being a Jesuit, or if I don't punch, at least a slap, if I don't give a slap to anyone, even today sometimes, but I control today.
Okay.
But maybe before the commitment period or during the first stage of commitment, if I feel something is wrong, I have to bash them up. That is my policy. But in these 3 years, the anger, the control that I have in my life, the anger is marvelous, tremendous. I cannot believe, my parents cannot believe. If you see my walls, you will see marks, punch, because I cannot punch anyone, so I punch the wall.
Whoa.
So you will see all marks of my knuckles on the wall. Small marks.
Yeah.
So you will see that.
Yeah.
But this one thing has changed a lot in my life, and patience. Not that perfect even today, but I have a lot of patience than 6 years back that I had. I had no patience at all. Once upon a time.
Yeah. And Divya, what was, were you officially part of any teams in JY when you were in Delhi? Okay.
Yeah. I was part of the national campus team.
Okay.
Before that, I started with the music ministry in Delhi.
Okay.
And then moved on to the campus team, then became part of the national campus team. Now the national intercession team and the international council.
Oh, you're part of the international council?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Divya from Bombay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And how has been your married life, Divya? You've been married for the past 5 years?
Almost
5 years. So how would you, share, think of your married life so far?
It has been a journey, I would say.
Yeah.
Even though it's just 5 years,
Okay.
a lot of things, like Emmanuel said, there were a lot of the 3 years of his commitment. In between that, we got married, right? So there were a lot of ups and downs. I got sick for a while, so we had to stay apart for longer times. Like whenever he used to travel, I was at home with mother. So even after marriage, that distance, as in I knew that he's a missionary and he has to travel, but then when you come to reality that I have to live with this for the rest of my life, it kind of really, it's a little burdening. But then I think I have started to understand more. I do counseling right now, so earlier I knew the theories, but then I think now I'm able to put those things into practice. Like now I really understand, okay, this is how it should be, or this is what marriage is. So when I talk to married people also right now, I say, okay, even though it's just 5 years, a lot has been, God has really shown us a lot of things through which He has molded.
And Divya, now coming to the testimony part of it, the first question I want to ask you is, what did go through your mind when you were diagnosed with cancer? What was your first thought?
I would say there was no thought at all.
Okay.
Seriously, as in, I don't know. It all started with the miscarriage that happened, and then there were complications.
Okay.
So when it was tested and they thought that there could be cancer, and my mother told me that we need to do chemotherapy, I don't think there was any reaction to it. I was like, okay, as in I have to be treated, so let's go with it. As in I don't think I was scared at that point of time, because somehow it just came to me, and it was a very, the Lord speaks through the whispers, right? So it was a very silent thing. Okay, this is there. It is happening to me. I have to get treated. I have to move forward with trust in the Lord. That was the only thing. So I don't think I actually reacted to it in any way. But before the treatment, when the miscarriage happened, things that happened in the hospital, and maybe during the chemotherapy, the physical pain that was there, those were some experiences that I had. But when I heard about it, I think, I don't know, more than me, it was Emmanuel who might have reacted to
Yeah.
it. I don't remember, okay, my mother saying that you'll have to go through chemotherapy because you have to be treated. I was like, okay, as in, there was no thought why. People usually ask, why did God do these things to you, know? So I don't know, I never got that question in my mind, and people are surprised why that. So if I can share a little more, there's this story that I had heard about a Wimbledon player. So this was when I was in school. I had a habit of reading a lot of things. So a lot of mails used to come. So one of the story was about this Wimbledon player who I think had some serious disease, and one of his fans wrote a mail to him and said, "Why didn't you ask God why when He's doing this to you? You're such a great person and all these things." So he just simply remarked that I never asked God when I won the state level and the country level. So I never asked God when He gave me blessings. So why should I ask God? So maybe that was somewhere down there. God had prepared me for this through that story. So when people ask me, "Didn't you ask God why?" I never actually did ask God why. I just took it as it came because I know the Lord does the best for us. So whatever He does, there is a plan for us.
Yeah. And how did the news come to you, Emmanuel? How did you come to know?
So I went to Delhi and I was sitting during one of the chemo of Divya. I went to Jesus Youth House, which has a 24 hours perpetual adoration going on. So it was nearby the hospital. So I went there. So when I entered, there were a couple of people sitting there. So all moved out because I was the assistant coordinator. They gave me full respect. And I went inside and I started crying about the sickness.
Yeah.
Not about the sickness actually. Why did
God do this?
because no, not even God did this, because I'm in the mission.
Okay.
God has given me 3 years of responsibility, so I have to do that. And the entire 3 years was of sickness. My mom was twice in the hospital, in ICU, once in ventilator, almost gone. Said just come out, and now my wife is in the hospital, diagnosed of cancer. Just married for 1 year, not even known her very well actually. So I said, Lord, all these things during this time, why? Why do you give me? So, and if she dies, what will happen? How will I live without her? And all these things were going through my mind. And God asked me two questions. The first question was, how long do you know her, Emmanuel?
Yeah.
So I said, 1 year.
Yeah.
So he asked me question, how long do I know her?
Yeah.
So I said, eternity.
Yeah.
And who should worry more, you or me? I got the answer.
Yeah.
I got the answer. I wiped my tears, completely happy. Not the person who went into the chapel when I went out, came out of the chapel.
Yeah.
Very happy, praise the Lord, and I left. And I could see the next chemo and the report or the testing that we did about her, the beta HCG, we call it beta HCG, the test and it dropped the half of the percentage or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It was around 72,000 or something. The norm it should be below 5, and the count was 72,000.
Yeah.
And the moment I surrendered her life and surrendered my life to the Lord, the next report was directly 36,000 something odd.
Okay.
That was powerful. That God, like I understood that God is with me today. That I'm very proud of my name that God, my mother put me, or maybe God inspired her to put my name as Emmanuel. But that powerful name of Emmanuel that is in me, that the God is with us. Definitely, I feel that every time when I fall, whenever people discourage me, disappoint me, or neglect me, or do not allow me to do anything, I know God is with me. I don't have to worry about anything. And He has taken care. And this was one of the time where God was very powerfully with me and telling that, Emmanuel, I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm with you always. I love you. You are very important to me. You are very what do you say? Mulyavan. क्या बोलते in English?
Amulya.
Huh? Amulya. Precious. You are very precious to me.
Yeah. And Divya, yeah. The chemo process would have been a long process. So even though you didn't have any thoughts initially when you came to know that you had cancer, how did the whole journey of chemo? How did you go through Were there times of doubts and lack of faith during that journey?
Lack of faith, I wouldn't say. I don't know. Somehow God has blessed me with a lot of hope in me, hope that is in Christ. So, and I somehow boast of this, that God has really blessed me with hope. So somehow, uh, there were moments when I've cried. I have literally cried. Emmanuel knows it.
Yeah.
My mother does not know, but Emmanuel knows it, that I'm like, God, please just take this away from me. Because, like Emmanuel said, there was this sudden drop in the count, and then towards the end, like, okay, it has to, like, now it's like only 10, then it has to come down below 5.
Okay.
It came down to 6, but then after 6, it's like only point that is coming down. So, doing the blood checks and seeing that, okay, it's just point, how long will it take? God, please just take it away. I am going through it, but then Lord, I can't take it anymore. It's just getting a little longer. It was only 2 months, so to say. Every week I had a chemo. But then in the beginning, even though that faith was high, I couldn't do anything. I was just on bed. I did my chemo. I came back home. I was secluded. My parents just took care of me. They're like, no, you're not coming out getting those germs or anything. We'll get the food for you, everything. So I was secluded in that one room and just lying there doing just nothing. You have all these thoughts. It's just the mind that is working there.
Yes.
You are not literally doing anything. I couldn't sleep for days. Again, he's the witness because he was there with me. So I would just turn from this side to that side, get up, sit, lie down. Because of these thoughts, what am I going to do? What is going to happen? I need to do something. My hands and feet were not moving, but my mind was just not letting me sleep at all. So that was the kind. So that is the moment I think I started like, God, please just let me get out of this so I can do something about it. And then I still remember Father Joseph, I mention it everywhere. He's a sedation priest who used to say daily mass for me. My mother teaches in Don Bosco, so he's a very good friend of ours. So he once came home and he said, Divya, you don't know how God is using you. You might feel that you are there in your bed, in your room, secluded and not going out, you're not singing any songs or you're not being with your ministry work or anything. But then people come to me and ask me these questions. Why is God doing these things to Divya? And I am able to share faith with them. I am able to share Christ with them. So somehow you are being an instrument to share Christ to them. Even though you are not out there, but through me, God is using me, and the reason is because we are talking about you, and I can share Christ with them. So I got this conviction that no matter where I am, no matter how I am, God still uses you. So that was a kind of assurance that when Father said, I was like, okay, I mean, I can still be there. God definitely has a plan for me, and that really gave me the assurance that okay, I'll take it now. No matter, even though I cried a lot of times, but he again, like, you have the hope. I know I have the hope, but then he's again and again reaffirming that keep up the hope.
Okay. And Emmanuel, during this 2 months of chemotherapy which was going on for Divya, so you still were active in the JY ministry?
No, actually, I stayed with her for this 2 months. I said this time, more than ministry, I think God needs me to be with her actually.
Yeah.
So complete almost 3 months I was with her. I did not go out. I was also jailed with her in her room actually, which was for me also, which was a very tough time because I'm a person who always do something. And this 3 months like was doing nothing. I was just looking at her, and we both crying sometimes, or maybe smiling, or thinking about the future, which we had no hope sometimes whether it will happen or not. But it was a very good time that we had. Maybe in the 1 year that we could not spend, that 3 months God gave us gist of honeymoon period, and everything was in that bedroom actually.
Yeah, I was saying that there was this one commitment that he had during those 2 months. That was the World Youth Day that was happening in Brazil.
Okay.
And he was registered for it. So this was a preparation that was happening for the last
6-7
few
months.
months. Yeah, last 6-7 months it was happening. The tickets were done. He was supposed to take care of all the delegates that were going from Jesus
India.
Youth India.
Okay.
So that was a big responsibility that was on his shoulder. So he was on this two minds, whether I should go, not go, I cannot go. But then I think I said that no, because you have taken up a responsibility, I think you should just go there, because there's nobody else who can actually be with the delegates. He was given the responsibility. He had taken the responsibility. So now just continue with that. So there was this brief moment when I know it was difficult for him to go, but then I made sure that I am fine here. You can go, you can come back.
Yeah.
I'll be fine in these. God will definitely take care of me in these 2 weeks that he is not there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was something that it was difficult for him to decide.
Yeah. So he went eventually to Brazil?
Yeah, he did.
Okay. And when did you come to know about the healing of cancer, Emmanuel? How was that process, and when did it happen?
I told you the moment after the adoration, the sacrament I said, immediately maybe after a couple of weeks, it started coming down. Okay. The what do you say? The report was coming better. I said, if it's 72,000, 36 ka 16 or 18, and it's coming directly. And only the last period was, but by God's grace, I believe I've seen people who are diagnosed with cancer going for chemos like 10, 12, 14. I think Divya had only four cycles of chemo. So that was the biggest assurance that God said, okay, everything is over. Now let's hope. Now you believe in me that I will do everything. So I could see that positiveness of God showing me that don't worry, I'm there, don't worry. So even though they're like, oh, it's not going down. 6. Now I thought that would be 3, then 1, and it's over. Now no chemo. And God said, no, not that fast. Go a little slower. But it was very, and we know we are praying, and I did not tell many people in my Bombay actually about my her sickness actually, because I don't know, I did not feel like saying it to anyone. Even my mother I did not say, because mother was a patient actually, so I don't want to ask my patient, heart patient. So I don't want to tell her. But my sister was updated with everything. But she, and I believe the movement, his youth movement as a whole, even many people have not seen me. But only because I'm in a responsibility, assistant coordinator, Divya is my wife, many people around the world pray for us.
Yeah.
They took up initiative of offering mass and sacrifices and many things. So that was the biggest help for me in my spiritual journey in this tough time that I had. There were people who, as I call brothers and sisters in Christ Jesus, that's it. I've never seen them, never met them, but they pray for us. That was the biggest miracle, I think, that she healed. Because I don't think so. I think we were diagnosed of cancer. She was diagnosed of cancer in the month of May, and the chemo got over by August. And within 6 months, she's up on her feet. I think after 6 months or 7 months, she went out for one small program or something.
No. August it got finished, and September I went out to give my testimony.
Wow.
That was so fast.
Yeah.
First time when doctors showed, when the report came of 72,000, the count of 70,000, doctor told us not to ask anything, because we are confused. We do not have anything to say. Just pray to God. That was in the month of May. And in August, everything is fine. September, she went for testimony. And after that, we are always out.
Yeah.
So small programs, and she started going out.
Yeah.
So I could not believe that it was like cold and cough for 2 days. We slept, and entire thing was like a cold and cough or fever for 5 days. Over, everything is over. Now we are back to work.
Yeah.
That was so. I believe that even today, when I see people diagnosed of cancer, I know that it is a tough time. Only for a few minutes or a few moments, I would say, or a few months. But you should have that belief that God is with you. And this cancer or HIV, I've seen one of my friends, he's suffering from HIV for the last 20 years. His medicine is prayer. Morning from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, prayer. Blessed Sacrament for 1 hour, mass maybe once or twice. Then evening again, personal prayer. And surviving for the last 20 years with this sickness.
Without medicine.
Without medicine.
Wow.
Yeah. So all these things, when people are there with me to motivate, God is motivating me maybe through people, through some situations. And this was like, initially when we thought cancer, it was like my eyes was all out like frog. But afterwards, it was like, okay, this is like a cakewalk. I have to go through. Every human has to go through. But I got it a little early. People get it sometime late. But today, when I sit here, I think that the experiences that I have that God has given me is much more than the people of my age, maybe category. I've got more experiences than the people of today's generation of my age category that they are going through. They have not experienced. Maybe they're not searching or seeking that God's love in their life.
Yeah.
Maybe that.
Yeah. And
I want to share one verse that I was sharing that when I was just lying down doing nothing, my mind was just thinking about a lot of things. So I had to do something. So my mother said,
keep saying.
read some Bible verses. So I had started doing it, and there was this one Bible verse, Romans 8:28. I had not memorized it before. I had read it before, but then I started writing it down. I couldn't even hold a pen to actually, didn't have the strength to write it, but I started writing it down and memorizing the verse. It was, we know that in everything God works for the good of those who love Him, whom He has called according to His plan. And I know that God has called me according to His plan. I believed that. So definitely God had something wonderful out of this. So that verse was again a conviction that God is taking care of me. So it was during, as in, when I felt that okay, now I'm like broken completely. This was a consolation for me.
Yeah. And last question on cancer, Divya. The one of the greatest tool of the devil is to use the fear of death. Like, you see a lot of martyrs, they overcome this fear, and even at the last moment of, the time of death. So for you, did you have any time where this fear of death, that it came and gripped you? And how did you overcome it? No. Okay.
No, as in, I never had. So I don't know how to explain, but then I don't think that thought had ever gone in my mind.
Yeah.
God has given life, and He has the right to take away that life. Again, like I said, I had a miscarriage.
Yeah.
So even at that point of time, it was just 1 month, 1.5 months when I had got to know at a certain point that yes, I am pregnant. I was waiting, and then after a week's time, I get to know that there's no heartbeat. So that is something that should break me down completely, but then I knew that okay, God has something with this. He had given me, but then He has also taken it away. So even my life, I think I never had that question whether I am going to die, what is going to happen. I have not lived my life. Nothing like that crossed my mind really, because again, the hope that I have in the Lord and the faith that He takes care of everything.
Yeah. And Emmanuel, now having gone through this, darkest time in your life, now do you see why God allowed all these things in your life, or it is still a mystery for you?
No. I was, the moment something happens in my life, I know God is doing something better. God is doing something marvelous. I don't know what is it. Even today, I don't know what is the, maybe what way He's teaching me, I don't know, but He's teaching me a lot of things through this. I told you, when doctor said, my mom, to call out everyone because she was in the ventilator, doctor said everything was gone. Right? I told, my sister was there, she was there at home, I was in the hospital. Called her up and said, prepare everything for the coffee. I'm bringing the body right away in 1 hour, because when doctor will come, they will say that she's gone and you pack up the body. I called my wife, my sister and my Divya and said, just clean the room and everything, just to keep the body when people will come, just to keep it neat. That's it. I'm bringing the body in like another hour. And it did not happen actually. That was my thing, that because doctor was late, everything was late, they were not allowed to see my mother, so I thought everything is finished. Doctor will come and say, but those times God said, why you are worried so much? Did I say anything? No. You just wait, you have patience. And that's it. Patience, anger that I had, it was all controlled in this 3 years. Like, anger and the patience was the biggest treasure that I got as a assistant coordinator of Jesus Youth India.
Yeah. And Divya, now how you and Emmanuel and the child, how do you manage to live a good Catholic lifestyle in terms of the sacramental life that the church has to offer?
Again, we don't have a child yet.
Oh, okay, fine.
That is my niece.
Okay.
So we are still waiting. Hopefully hoping that the Lord will bless
Bless.
us soon enough.
Yeah.
Don't know when because it's been 5 years, but then yeah, we are waiting with faith.
Okay. And you are like, mass, confession, so you are able to integrate it in your lifestyle?
Yeah, we have been trying to go for daily mass,
Okay.
and which is not possible always because now I have started working, so getting the schedules right is a
Okay.
little difficult. But at least evening mass, if not the morning mass, we try to go for evening mass. Confessions, we have a regular place where we go. There's a shrine of Don Bosco here, so Emmanuel has been regularly going there for his confession. So now I have also joined him at least once a month, once in 2 months. We make a travel to the shrine
Yeah.
and we do our confessions.
Yeah.
So we have been being able to support each other in prayer.
Yeah. And Emmanuel, how has the sacramental life helped you become a better person and sustain your relationship with God?
Again, going a little back, my dad died at the age of 75. He got married at the age of 50.
Oh.
And yeah, before his during his bachelor life, he was not in the way he should be. He's a good Catholic. He used to go for. At the same time, because of his life, because again the city of Bombay, he was a communist party a trade union leader in one of the company. So there's fights and he had good friends in the sense to drink and smoke. So he used to smoke 14 packets every day, cigarettes. So by the time he was 60 and all, he had no lungs at all.
Okay.
But he is every 6:40 mass, he is there. Even father is not there, he is present.
Yeah.
Every bad situation, doctor said, gone, finished, call your relatives, he is gone, and he's sitting, enjoying, coming back to his life.
Yeah.
So I asked my dad, why? Doctors have told you at least 3 or 4 times in front of me that you are going to die and you will survive and come back. My dad says, only because, not because of the food that I eat, not because of the exercise that I do, not because of the medicine that I take, it's only because of the Holy Mass that I go every day. I talk with God, God gives me energy, God gives me life, and my life grows. And he died a very peaceful death. He was an asthma patient, he is a heart patient, so many sicknesses he had. But he died very peaceful, telling my mom was next to her, telling that, Annie, I'm going to die.
Wow.
And he put his body, hand, legs straight and smiled at my mom, and he peacefully died.
Yeah.
And he lived his life along. So I also believe that the moment if I'm close to God, I have a long life and a peaceful life. Not only long life, but a peaceful life. Troubles will come, struggles will come, sufferings will come. That is not a problem. But all these things, when you are close to God, you can easily, I'm telling you, very easily, we can overcome it.
Yeah.
Only thing is that you have to have focus, that you have to see that cross that is in front of you.
Okay.
And you should believe that God has created you for His work. Ephesians 2:10. For we are created in Christ Jesus to do the good works that He has prepared in advance for us to do. So we have to believe that we are created for His work, and He is for us. That's it. And you will not find anything so tough in my life. Even today, anything come, I know this is for 2 minutes or 1 day or 1 year. That's it, over.
Yeah.
One thing that we do as a couple is to go for mass together. As it so happens, that we are not able to fix our timings. Okay, morning or evening, when should we go? But then whenever we plan, okay, today we have to go, he will check whether I am coming on time, and then we will go together. Where to reach? If I'm going to if we are close by to the shrine, then okay, he comes from here and I go from. It's together. As in, we try to do it as much as possible together because we are a couple, so we have to be responsible for each other's faith, right?
Yeah, Divya. Yeah, I was about to ask you. So now today, if a cancer patient comes before you and they want to be encouraged and want to have hope in the future, what would you tell them?
I would first ask them to accept the situation that they are right now in. As in, just like I shared that the story of the Wimbledon player.
Yeah.
God has given us so many blessings.
Yeah.
And He has given us so many things in our life that we have never asked God, why you're doing this in my life, why you did this in my life, why have you given me so good parents or such good brothers or things. But when there are adversities, we try to complain to God, and then we think, okay, there is a God who is doing all this in my life. So the first thing is to accept that, okay, this situation has come in my life, and it is a part of the life that I'm living right now. And if God was there before, God is there right now too. His presence is there even right now in my life, and He will get me through it. And death, what after death? You be with Christ, right?
Yeah.
So I think we need to look forward to, okay, that is something so beautiful that, okay, even if death happens, I will be with my God. So why should we fear death? So this struggle that is there in your life, just take it as it is. Believe that there is a God. He has been there throughout your life till this point, and from this point onwards also He is there with you, because He is the Alpha and the Omega. He is there every time with you, and He's taking care of you. And even beyond death, He is there with you. So that belief, if I am able to make them understand, okay, this is what life is about. It's God given, and God has the right to take it away. So if He's taking it away, it's because He wants you to be with Him. So you don't have to worry about anything. You are still in God's hand.
Yeah.
So yeah, if that gives hope, then yes.
Yeah, actually, Emmanuel, one of the inspiration for us to do this interview is right now there is a family, a JY family, where the husband is, going through the situation of cancer. So I remembered 3 years back when we met, and there was one Jesus Youth person who said that you had gone through the situation and you had gone through a lot of tough times. So as soon as I heard the message from Bangalore, the first person I wanted to talk or call and do this interview was you. So I think it was very much God ordained.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, definitely. I know we are praying for it.
Praying
We are praying. We know them very personally, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so Divya and Emmanuel, thank you so much for accepting and taking time to do this interview. I'm sure this is going to be a great blessing for a lot of people.
We pray. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So thank you, Emmanuel.
Well, yeah. Thank you, Joseph, for choosing us as a.
Yeah.
Yeah. God bless you, and your mission is